Hi, Aloysius here again, this time joined by Russell,
Hello.
the fanciest dressed man at the event. That's how we decided that you should be the one doing the commentating with
Oh,
me.
thank
It was
you.
a costume party. And
Oh, not my talent with magic. Obviously not, because
Well, yeah,
we
if
just
I'm
dropped
here.
because we're 06, I think, in the moment.
So if you have the dream team of us based on magic skill, it's pretty obvious that we're going to be not basing this on
No.
magic skill, but fashionable hair and clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Makes an interesting commentary.
With that in mind, we're going to be watching James Fazarali versus Jason Chung. Sorry, that can't possibly be right. I said that wrong. But it'll be James versus Jason. Of teams Australia and New Zealand is sort of the significant part of this matchup here. Again, this is the same Jason from the last video, and Sasha and Matt will be joining him again. So we have members who will be on Team New Zealand, and both Jason Chung and James Fazarali are representing Australia at upcoming Worlds events.
Yeah, WMCQ, so really good practice for both of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, excellent practice, and particularly with James and Jason, they'll get to sort of see each other playing as teammates, which is it's good that this event exists because you don't often get that sort of team-mate experience. Yeah,
good rapport is really imperative for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
each other. So here we are.
Be a interesting match and team. We're watching James Fazaroli here representing Wolfie as my commander on his shirt.
Excellent.
And I'm sure Wolfie would appreciate the very beautiful playmat, which I say with a hint of sarcasm.
And somehow we have a sneak and show on the right. So I didn't know sneak and show was represented by New Zealand, but
I guess they get expanding internationally.
International claim. Hopefully this stream doesn't go international. Us making a fool of ourselves.
It'll be on Twitch, but nobody else will watch it.
Fantastic.
So it's fantastic.
James Fazarali representing both Team Australia, Team Channel Fireball, Team Sneak and Show, and Team Wolfie, who's my commander. So
and Team 2.5 Men at the moment.
And Team 2.5 Men.
I imagine he is the half man in that situation.
Probably he is of probably less stature than some of his other teammates.
Both within the magic community and as a physical stature.
Yes, indeed. Looks like he's already taken a mold of 6. And I believe that Jason kept 7, so do we know
with
on the play.
You were right to highlight the fact that James is actually a member of Team Channel Fireball, and as such has the appropriate sleeves.
I should think so. And it looks like both players are taking the player lands in front to get the opponent really annoyed method.
But yeah, it's always worked against me. I've never once thought of it as a reasonable way to represent your board.
I personally like having my lands and spells upside down and lands in front to really confuse the opponent.
Yeah, I think the more confusing I can make my board state, yet maintaining it legally, the far better I am.
Alright, looks like we have a red-green deck on James, and we have the traditional blue-eye heroic. I'm quite a fan of this sort of strategy, but at turn 3 for Lucranos.
Yes, obviously it's paying off well for James here, and he seems to be flipping his hand almost to show distaste for his opponent and rub it in his face that he has pulled off a turn 3 for Lucranos here. That or he was passing turn, I can't be sure.
He could be passing the turn with derision.
Yeah.
So blue-eye heroic deck, obviously really aggro combo deck, and Green Red Monster is all about getting to the top end faster than anyone else, so we've got James exacting that plan. We'll see what the Blue Eye Heroic player can do in response.
I imagine something along the lines of an ordeal, maybe coming down and just really make that guy bigger. And
Ordeal's not going to do much here. They make it a 4/4, so you'd have to do Ordeal in conjunction with something to really have much of an impact. So maybe some sort of Defiant Strike in combination, or God's Willing perhaps. But we'll see.
Yeah, any one of those one-cost white spells that targets a creature, that's what the deck's going for.
It's really good, but if not, it seems pretty foolish to do any attack if he doesn't have a combination of 2 cards to really get this hoplite big enough. And
there's the ordeal.
Step 1.
Yep.
Step 2, we'll scry first.
Yeah, and I guess that way, if he is working on a Defiant Strike or something like that,
you can maximize it, which is really good. And he's going for the attack, so that can only really say to me that he has a trick, or he's bluffing it, and James is just going to take that damage.
Yeah, maybe this it's just been a very good bluff that's worked out very well for...
Well, you'd have to think so, because Pelucron's killing that ordeal is a definite 2-for-1 for James, but...
And it's you don't have to worry about the hoplite getting bigger next time when it attacks and actually being
gaining 10 life. It's ridiculous. That's a really big swing, especially in this Green Red Monster deck, which is looking to push through the damage, but here's James back.
And maybe he's got another Polukranos to follow up here.
That would be a terrible play on James' behalf. He'd have to sacrifice. But just a 0-3 followed up by a Hornet's Nest, and that is interesting. Obviously, if the Hoplite hits that Hornet's Nest, some trouble is going to brew.
Yeah, almost as if the name was full of flavor.
Ah, yeah.
The favorite thing of every Magic flavor player at this level is the flavor of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just disappointed that there's not much flavor text on Hornet's Nest. It's always bugged me. Aqueous Form, though, absolutely fantastic card here. Really good against the red-green decks.
Got him Scry.
He'll Scry
again. Scry again.
Scry again, and Scry me a River, perhaps. Yeah. And the follow-up, it looks like he may have another card. Defiant Strike would probably be the play here.
Yeah.
And that's going to
really scry and then draw a card.
Scry and draw, that's some significant filtering through the deck. He's already scryed to the bottom and now he'll draw. And that's going to get in for a total of 8 damage this turn, and he'll scry once more.
Surprising at this point that he still hasn't seen a land.
Well, you don't really want more than 3 lands. He might be just putting them down.
Yeah, that's true.
You only really want 3 or 4 lands in this deck. Holding up 1 for God's Willing or Stubborn to Know, if they play that, is the way to go. But here a big hit for 8 damage and gaining him 10, and that's just going to the game.
That combat step gaining him 10 extra life.
Well, Aqueous Form is just absolutely destroying against red-green decks. It's just how to get through it. That and Stratus Walk can't block. These big dumb creatures just can't do a thing. So pretty typical matchup there. The Blue-Eye Heroic just getting under the red-green monsters.
And we'll be switching to another table now.
Nice backup match. And
it seems that we have the Abzan.
Yeah, we've got looks like probably
Constellation.
Constellation deck with the Hornet Queen versus the Jeskai control. Probably Jeskai wins, I believe it's called.
Jeskai being a choice I haven't seen as often.
It's sort of disappeared in favour the last few weeks. I mean, it hasn't put up many strong finishes, so it's may just be a choice due to card availability for the pool as this is Team Unified standard.
Well, conversely, this is Team Australia, so I imagine Witchwool card availability isn't an issue.
No.
Those limiting those 4, the decks I've normally seen is red-green, Blue-White Heroic, and Abzan being the final one in that.
Oh, definitely. It's got the least crossover. Blue-Eye Heroic shares almost no cards with anything. Abzan's almost the default best deck of the format, so long as you can play it well. And red-green monster is just a good little way to push through. But here having a Jeskai deck is quite interesting.
It also it doesn't have any. It might have a small amount of overlap, but it
manageable. You don't lose too much strength from the deck, and it looks like that Pharika, God of Affliction, is active and attacking, so that's quite good. 5/5 that can just create more creatures from graveyards, but we can't. Can we see graveyard? But looks like 2.5 men holding a fair bit of burn there, which hopefully can deal with some of that devotion, perhaps burning out the Hornet Queen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That mid-combat will be really good.
And those Hornet Queens...
Yeah, you've got the 4 tokens there by the dice, which is holding back that Mantis Rider completely.
It even lets him get in with some aggro attacks in the sky, and
it looks like Matt has no creatures in the graveyard, so that Pharika's activated ability isn't sort of online available, not available to make the 1/1 Death Touch Enchantment Snakes.
Not particularly relevant at the moment for him.
Still a 5/5 body for 3, not too bad, I'd say. It's a bit above the curve.
But what's important here is this game's going to be one in the air for Team Gas Splash Matt at the moment. Gas Splash Matt,
yeah, definitely. It's controlling the air. I mean, Jeskai tries to win the air. Stoke the Flames there, I believe, going to the face. And that's going to drop Gas Splash Matt down to 8. 8-7 here. And maybe the Jeskai deck's got enough just to throw the rest of the damage through. He's holding a fair bit of burn in hand. Jeskai Charm, it looks like he's going for it.
Yeah, just like...
That's another 4 damage. And there's another 2. And that'll finish it up.
Yep, cool. I guess the option sometimes when you do have red spells in hand is just play them all out.
Instead of putting in the creatures, put them to the face. If the face is dead, there is no creatures. And...
So with that in mind, we'll be going back to Table 1 as they shuffle their decks and get ready to go.
I believe that's 2 games to Team 2.5 men.
Yeah,
so they're in a commanding position quite quickly indeed. Yeah. They're looking to quickly close this one out. And, post sideboard, sort of the Blue-White Heroic deck is looking to get rid of some of the cards that don't do as much. and just really capitalise on basically more evasion, and they don't really need to sideboard very much. I've found it's my deck of choice at the moment, and the matchup is pretty favourable. Things you need to worry about is just getting those really big creatures down really early, but God's willing, Aqueous Form and Stratus Walk are all good ways to push through.
Yeah, troning up a guy has been a strategy now. I remember the old Banned Hexproof deck.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Bogles in Modern.
Yeah.
Scourge of fun.
And of course, Infect when it really tries to do that same game plan.
Definitely, yeah. So this is almost like the current standard iteration. You've got Blue-Eye Heroic in Standard, Bogles in Modern, and Infect in Legacy, and Modern, I suppose. But the Red Green Monsters deck is probably going to, if it's got some spot removal, it's really good just to get those nice little 2-for-1s. Lightning Strikes are quite effective early on, but we'll see how it goes. I imagine the Red-Green deck will be on the play.
And that's where you want to be.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Actually, I apologise. It'd be 1-1 because Gas Flash Map took out. Did they take out both of them?
Gas Splash Mat won both games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're both in the lead.
So not looking great for
Team Australia.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry about that. It was in fact 2.5 men that took out Abzan versus Jeskai there, so it is one on each side of the table at the moment. So it could be that that trend continues and it all comes down to the middle table to.
Yeah, even that's always more exciting. It goes to 3 games. I mean.
Yeah. I enjoy that. My other guys won the game for me, and we can stop playing Magic now. Fantastic. Who cares where this game was at? I'm going to go take a break.
Yeah, I'm going to go get a burrito.
Yeah, exactly. Burritos seem to be the Magic player food of choice.
I just had one this afternoon. It was fantastic. So, looks like we're just resolving mulligans here. And it looks like James Fadlari is going to keep that one. And here we lead off with the Wooded Foothills.
Again at the top of the board.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah. Here's Timberlumen Alignment. Not the fastest start for Blue-Eye Heroic, but leaving it on top certainly points to there being some action pretty soon.
Yeah, I doubt he's going to be flooded with lands at this rate.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, Blue-Eye Heroic's one of those decks that needs, much like Bogles, much like Infect, it needs a nice even spread of lands, creatures, and spells. So those temples really go a long way of helping smooth out the early turns.
Scry has been a fantastic mechanic for those kinds of decks.
Definitely a player-oriented mechanic. A lot of the more experienced players like those half-draw steps, as it were. And James is just going to fetch a forest here, which leads me to believe he's got some action this turn.
Obviously, we weren't going to get fetch lands paired with Ravnica.
No, that would just be ridiculous. Yeah. It'd be like Modern and Modern.
I'm all disappointed myself as a Eternal formats player. I like to see.
Yeah, but your Modern now gets all the Onslaught fetches.
It does get all the Onslaught fetches, and
here we go. Battlewise Hoplite. Typically the almost the worst creature in the deck, surprisingly enough. Blue-Eye Heroic. It's often the one you lead out on and eat the first removal spell. But I think we've got a Courser Crewfix to gum up the ground here.
And unfortunately for James, he'll be drawing that forest instead of putting it straight into play.
Yeah. Flutterstrand to fetch. Looking probably here, if you're going for this, an Ordeal plus some sort of effect. Maybe an Ordeal Assassin to refresh the hand, especially since he's grabbing a blue land.
Definitely. Ordeal Assassin is probably my favorite of the Ordeals.
Oh, it's incredible in this deck. It just really, it replaces itself, replaces the creature it's on, and oftentimes you can outdraw control decks, and especially these red-green decks, which have no way of drawing aside from the Courser draws, as it were. And here we see probably an Ordeal Assassin I'm going to put my money on. Oh no, just looks like I lost a bet. Hero of Iris and then Ordeal Assassin. That's even better. Hero of Iris, probably the best creature in that deck. Making those Ordeals 1 mana is just such a boon. And here we have a 4/4 swiftly attacking into that. What James probably thought was a safe, nice little 2/4 to get away.
Yeah, definitely.
Now just a chump blocker.
In all fairness, I think James knows that Ordeal is an absolute possibility.
Here's an excellent sideboard card. We've got Disciple of Nylea, 4 cost 3/3 with gains life, devotion to green. So at the moment, on this board state, it would gain 4 life, but I can imagine James playing something else this turn. And here we see the Reclamation Sage, fantastic, onto that Ordeal Assassin, really stops the blue-white devotion deck from pulling too far ahead.
It's done its damage though. Like it obviously had a lot more potential, but giving the
I think
a +2 +2 is still something.
I don't think the damage is dealt until the cards are drawn. I mean, it would be an extra counter. It would be 2 extra cards. It's definitely let damage through early, but that Disciple of Nelia will go, and in conjunction with the Courser of Krufix is going to gain that life back.
Sure. Sending in the dorks here. Just
don't think they're dorks at this point. Don't get me wrong. Any sort of spell on either of them, they'll go from a 2/2 to a 4/4 type thing, or a 4/4 to even a 6+ power. So.
And it looks like he might have one of those now.
2 mana, Feat of Resistance, perhaps. No. Just true. We've gone through the comment. And another Battlewise Hoplite. And you'll see that he's holding up both blue and white there. That represents either Stubborn Denial, which would be Ferocious turned on, and also God's Willing. So, really good spot for the blue heroic deck here.
Yeah, it looks like this game could end pretty quickly. Unless Faz really pulls out a powerful creature here.
He just needs some kind. Well, Faz is only on 9 life at this point, so he needs to gain life this turn or he's just dead, basically. He's going to gain up to 10 from that Courser. Well, that's an interesting Cetesian tactic. It's a good way to get himself back in this game if he gets through the next turn.
Yeah, if. That's a big effort too.
And we're going to have opponent's going to have a look at this one.
Yeah, just...
This is a Strive that gives all your creatures +1/+1 and has fight another creature, I believe, which is basically the mass removal spell he's looking for. It would be able to clear out probably two of those 3 creatures, but that 4/4 is still...
Plague Wind, almost.
Almost, but again, we've got the God's Willing that Blue Arrow deck only needs 1 creature to win. Sadly enough,
Everybody loves Tron, right? Got to Voltron it up.
Yeah, the Ultron, I love it. And this looks like Disciple of Nelia. It's going to gain 5 life, proving with 15, which may get him through for the turn.
Do you think that with the new Avengers film coming up, people will be making Age of Tron jokes?
Well, Tron to me is the
old Voltron, not Ultron.
Oh, the Voltron, not the Ultron. Yeah. No, I believe Voltron's always going to be Voltron.
Yeah, it's always about getting those guys together and teaming up.
Yeah, exactly. He's cooler. I guess that's banding, but no one likes that mechanic. And
everybody loves the lands that give banding, though, right? It's all about Sora's Path, is it? Or is that another terrible
I'm not even sure. I think it's Hammerheim gets red creatures banding.
Yeah.
But here we see a God's Willing blocking, a Battlewise Hoplite blocking the Nilia's... Courser of Krufix and surviving the turn thanks to the +1/+1 and also protection.
Yeah, exactly.
Just can't be killed. 2 ways of surviving here. But this attack signifies that James, isn't as worried about just getting destroyed by these creatures this turn. He thinks he's pretty safe at 15. Whether or not that's the case, we'll decide on this next draw step, I suppose.
And with 4 lands, he can play a lot of spells.
Yeah, Defiant Strike into,
And all of his ordeals are only costing 1.
Exactly.
So, and
Stratus Walk is one that draws a card.
Absolutely.
There are many ways this deck can just combo off, as it were, just chain a bunch of 1-mana spells. So we'll see what happens. But that 3/3 is definitely not blocking. He'll need it to fight next turn.
Yeah.
As a 4/4. So, as you say, come the... he's not attacking with a hero. That's a bit interesting.
But, going more
I suppose it would just get eaten, but this signifies to me he doesn't have as many tricks as he should.
Well, also the fact that he seems he has 0 tricks.
So he's just going to take a simple 7, and down comes a 0/4 Laguna Band Trailblazer.
Not the most powerful card at the moment.
No, it's very good against spot removal in the red deck matchups, but in this red-green deck, not so much.
Just a body at the moment.
Indeed. But here we see the Cetesian tactics, and do you think we'll be playing this one this turn? I think that's pretty much just time to strike. His opponent signified that doesn't. Maybe he's holding removal because he knows about the Cetesian tactics, but
the obvious weakness, of course, of being that your opponent sort of sees all the tricks coming a mile away. So.
Yeah, that's one of the downfalls, I guess, of Courser. I mean, it supplies a bit of card advantage, but complete information right, much like Goblin Guard would.
Almost like your opponent's got telepathy out on you or something.
Oh, that's terrible. Telepathy's a horrible card. I prefer Peak or Cataxian.
Yeah, but
Peak being card I'm most famous for. But looks like Faz has updated life total. So Faz is still on 10 life here versus 16 to his opponent. He can't get too frisky just yet, but I think this turn almost has to go for it and just.
Yeah, if you're trying to stabilize the board, which obviously you are if you're behind on life, you need to just sort of get rid of half of his creatures, and you have that option right now.
The only issue being is that it taps to fight. So I don't think Suggesting Tactics is an instant. I believe it's a.
No, I don't think.
I believe it's a sorcery. So you can't just. Okay.
It is.
We just had an update. It is an instant. So this does allow Faz to sort of sit in his heels, do some interesting blocks, and then get frisky and really mess up the combat mass. So.
Which is going to be.
Although he is just going through this turn. I like this. I mean, we've got 1 mana tapped on the blue heroic side, 1 less card drawn. There's only 2 cards in hand. There's not heaps that can go wrong here, but
it could also be that the if you fuck about too much with the combat math, like it's going to become a nightmare. And
so first up, we're fighting a. I'll just deal damage. Does it just deal damage to the creature? I think it just does deal damage. So that's just dealing 3 to the hero. We're dealing 4 to the 4/4. Looks like he's going to try and save it. Probably with a God's Willing or a Defiant Strike. Defiant Strike, nice.
Yeah, makes it a little bigger, draws the card.
Scrying first, of course. Yeah. In response, though, he's going to throw another bit of damage at it. Another 3. 4, sorry.
Obviously, he knows that this is going to be coming, though. And so we can expect he's got another action in hand.
Yeah.
Although, even if he doesn't, it does mean that...
well, Faz has got no creatures blocked, and they're still left a 4/4 Hoplite. And... it is fight each other.
Yeah, cool.
Certainly. So they're both going to fight with the 4/4, the 4/4 Nylea's Disciple first, and then the 3/5. And then with Fear Resistance, this is a veritable blowout.
Yeah,
this will end up with 3+1/+1 counters on that Hoplite.
Fear of Resistance has been an all-star all weekend. When in the last round we saw it really dominating some moments there again in the blue-white heroic deck, where it is fantastic. And as I was speaking last round, it won some very important times for Wilfie's trip to Washington DC.
Yeah,
his deck probably wouldn't have gone there without those Feet of Resistances.
Fantastic card that from limited all the way to standard. I personally don't run it so much. Blue heroic 2 mana can be a bit of a stretch, but here we can just see how good it is. I mean, it's giving a total of 3+1/+1 counters plus the Defiant Strike. This card is now a 7 power guy. It's probably just going to wipe out
2 creatures from that fight thing, and it's really blown back against...
It's only going to wipe out one of them. I think, oh no, we'll wipe out both. We'll fight them both. Yeah, it's going to do 7 damage to each of them. Ability physical of protection, obviously.
Yes, yeah. Could no longer target.
But still, 2-tap creatures, and we've got...
and now he's going to have so much more damage.
We'll deal with Heliod spreading out that damage. I really like this. But this allows him to attack for lethal, and that's game. Blue Heroic takes it out 2-0. Not such a surprising result. I do like the matchup for Blue Heroic. I think it's heavily favoured pre and post board. And we just see the power of the best limited deck of all time, chucking and constructed. So it looks like we're going back to the Jeskai vs Abzan Whip deck, the reanimator version, obviously, with the Setu Wayfinder Whip.
The problem I have with this format versus limited is morphs are gas, and we don't see them as much.
Yeah, we don't see enough morphs in standard. I'd like to see some Radical Mystics, some Sargumula, but sadly we're just left with the godly Keranos, God of Storms, and that is pretty bad news by the look of things for the Abzan player. Life totals are just above 10 to each, but Keranos supplying a bit of card advantage. Siege Rhino might mitigate some of that life loss from Keranos.
And Whip of Erebos has obviously brought the Siege Rhino into play, meaning that it gets to attack this turn.
And that's going to be a huge life swing.
Yeah, particularly Lifelink is going to really blow it out for... and a banish.
Okay, we've just gone from looking like the Jeskai deck's going okay to falling a bit flat on its face here. We do see a Sarkhan in hand, but it's pretty hard to race a Whip a lot of the time if the Abzan deck is holding some creature in its graveyard.
Definitely, this is good. Especially a matchup across the board, it looks like.
Certainly. Jeskai Burn, obviously, we're trying to reduce its life total to 0. We see 21 to 5.
Yeah.
Not quite in Jeskai's favour here. I think the
Whip of Erebos certainly seems to have that effect.
Yeah. Well, it looks pretty good in Mono Black Devotion, and now I see it's pretty good in... Pretty good with Siege Rhinos too. Not too bad with 4/5 lifelink tramples that gain 3 life when they come into play.
Yeah, and
here we see Sarkhan getting a bit
veritable Thragtusk at that point, really, when they're...
I think it's better than a Thragtusk. 4/5 trample, it can't be killed by anything. Sarkhan can't even kill the thing. Sarkhan's just going for the face, knocking him down to 17, but it's still a long way to go. And we'll have a quick look at the graveyard. Looks like Satya Wayfinder is there again. Probably just going to reanimate that to fill up the graveyard some more. Supply fuel for our Whip of Erebos.
It could even turn out that he hits one of those cards that he really needs to make the Whip go into overdrive right now. If there's a Rhino in there, he could finish this game off right away.
Just had a quick update against our other match. We have
so in the middle table, it's Sasha versus Juzza, and Sasha seems to have taken the first game.
So with that result, it looks like Team Australia's got us back against the wall pretty much here.
I know Sasha's playing on. He is representing. Is a Sydney sider. He is representing Team New Zealand in this matchup.
The Fiend, the traitor.
Yes.
Treachery.
And obviously, Justin and Sasha would have played each other many times, both being from Sydney.
Treacherous handmaiden indeed. It's always interesting when Australian players choose to play for New Zealand. I mean, there's not so much of a rivalry that I'm aware of, but more of a bit of friendly banter between two sort of countries.
Sheep bangers over there.
Oh dear. So here we see the Abvan deck. Still don't have too much pressure. I'm not sure if that Satya Wayfinder found some juicy targets for Whip of Erebos, but Sarkin's just ticking up and dealing 4 a turn.
Not sure about you guys in Adelaide, but I think there's probably a deeper respect for New Zealanders than there is Tasmanians in Melbourne.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, poor Maitland Cameron hanging out down there on Tasmania all alone.
Yeah, well, he chose his life.
Yeah, he should become mainland Cameron soon.
Yeah, should mainland Cameron. And that looks like a Thief Rhino in the yard. That's pretty good, I hear.
Yeah, so the Whip of Erebos will probably be bringing that soon back, and
I don't see how we're gonna get away with this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if I saw a Jeskai charm last turn, if it maybe gained some life with Sarkin.
But it looks like this could definitely be a loss for the future part of Team Australia here.
Simply because the Rhino is going to put him down to 1, and if he attacks with the Rhino and the Wayfinder, he has to deal with a 4/5 and a 1/1.
Yeah.
I mean, that 1/1 is just brutal, although here we just see a 2/4. And I'm not sure if that's a land on top.
No,
but
considering it's not coming to play, I don't imagine it is. I don't think he's played a land this turn.
You're looking between a Rhino and a Hornet Queen. I see 2.5 minutes actually on 7 life, which that is lethal still. 3 from the Rhino and then 4 from the Rhino.
So we can expect this game to end momentarily.
And quick look at the hand. We have a Stoke the Flames. That's not going to do it.
Obviously, as a red player,
scoops him up.
He has options, but it seems that they weren't there.
And I think that's...
I believe that's 1-1 in this matchup.
1-1 in this matchup, so that means we'll go into game 3. We'll stick with this match and see if we can have a sneaky peek of any sideboards if necessary. Both players are going to do the right thing and shuffle 15 in.
Yeah.
Big fan of that, even if you can sideboard.
Even if you've double sleeved your deck as well. Like, it'll be the chunkiest thing ever, but you got to do it. You just got to.
Well, I'm sure these gentlemen are well versed in the art of Commander, so they're used to holding large decks.
EDH fiends, I am sure. With the idea of EDH being a massive pain in the ass to shuffle.
I've got a double sleeved EDH deck.
You don't.
I do.
I'm more disappointed that you have an EDH deck, let alone the fact that you've double sleeved
it. It's EDH, it's not Commander. I refuse to play Commander.
I don't understand the difference.
Well, Commander, you actually play the game. With EDH, you just kind of like have this deck and you tell people about it, but you never play it.
Okay,
You slowly foil it out.
So it's like Vintage.
It's kind of like Vintage, yeah. It's exactly like Vintage. You tell people about your deck and you foil it out and you never play with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's heaps gas.
Once a year, you're told that you might have the opportunity to win
maybe
4% of the value of the deck you're playing.
Yeah, and you get really excited about it. Not like Standard, where you try and win something and it's 1% of the deck you're playing.
Yeah.
The ridiculous price of Standard. Unless you're in Blue White Heroic or Mono Red Aggro, then you might be okay.
Those Pulchrosses aren't cheap, and Stormbreath Dragons.
Oh god, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. No, I'm certainly a fan of sitting on, in my case, Vintage cards and letting them accrue value.
Are you a Vintage player?
I am.
So you're an EDH player as well. Who's your commander?
Wolfie Horrig, obviously.
Wow. Pro Tour competitor Wolfie Horrig.
Yes.
Commander Horrig. You see a Sunsteep Citadel at the base of the deck. I imagine it's going to be shuffled in. And
just running through and perhaps making sure that he does have a decent sideboard plan put together.
Excellent. This is really good. We actually get to see the top of the library in the graveyard now, so we might be able to do some proper coverage, although that's quite doubtful.
Yeah, I would be shocked, frankly. But the shuffling of 15 cards, apart from not letting your opponent know how many cards you're siding in, it's always good when sometimes something appears in the deck. It's not your immediate thought is, wait, maybe that card is better.
Maybe that's good. In a good vacuum, you just see it between two cards, and it's like, hold on, that's a bit of a combo. Hello. I think it's a strategy that's just not employed enough in Magic, unless you got the old school guys that still do it. 15 cards in every game, look through it, take out the worst 15. And also, it's a bit more like the elephant deck style. That is to say, there's a 75 card deck that you just pick your best 60.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that ever really works, the elephant style.
That's what the blue white heroic deck is. It's a 75 card deck. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not a fan of that style. I think there's a lot more to be said for very specific sideboard plans. And
you like to hate. You love to hate, do you? Well,
I love to work out what decks I'm playing against and then just work according to what's.
You love to hate. You love to hate. I can see you putting in chokes in the deck. You're trying to choke your opponent.
My favorite cards to sideboard is probably good old Ingoture.
Ingoture. I love it. Do you know in French it's called Muncher de Ingots?
That's way better. I gotta find some French foils.
I'll get some for you. They're great. And we're going to lead off with the Jeskai player.
Another one of my favorite cards in sideboard for Highlander was Divine Intervention.
Divine Intervention. What does that even do?
It's 8 costs of white enchantment.
8 costs, did you say?
Yes.
Is that the one you tie the game if the game doesn't end in 5 turns?
In 2 turns.
In 2 turns. That's so good. Do you employ that in the Highlander League to try and get as many ties as possible?
I haven't played the Highlander Leagues in Melbourne, actually.
I hear they're quite good. I'm from Adelaide, so we have our own Highlander League, which is far better than Melbourne.
Is it just 4 people that meet up every now and then and play Highlander?
It's actually 3.
Yeah, I thought it was
one of us has to sit out and watch the game. But here we lead off with the Sylvan Carriage for the first actual play. Pretty typical for Abzan deck.
Yeah, what do you really expect?
These games aren't going to...
In all fairness, this isn't Abzan. Remember, it's Constellation Abzan.
Constellation Abzan, Reanimator, Rhino on a boat. Probably no boats.
It's certainly some technology here is what we're saying.
I see that. And I see the Island Mountain Plains with a little Mantis Rider in hand. Might get a bit frisky here.
With
I'll just 3 in the air. Why not? Get in there.
Team 2.5 men.
Doesn't do anything.
Going to come up with a play sometime soon, though.
Surely. Maybe he's just sitting on his heels waiting for some spell. Thoughtseize. That's a pretty good spell. Well, let's see what we're working with here. We had a couple of Harshwing Gryphs. I guess that's to stop a Rhino coming down. Definitely. That's a pretty good play. I like that. But 2 Harshwing Gryphs here to stop it. But with the Abzan Constellation, Reanimator, Rhino deck, now knowing what's up, we might have to shift our game plan. But this will fuel the dig through time if it comes up. If we get that far.
It's always about feel it. Delve's a very fun mechanic, just trying to make as much value out of it.
Oh man, I love Delve.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Have
you played Treasure Cruise yet?
I've played Treasure Cruise.
For 1 mana?
It was because I was playing it in a Highlander deck that was blue, white, green, like aggressive zoo with Ancestral and Time Walk being the points.
That's so good. Did it feel good drawing 3 cards for 1 mana? And then drawing an Ancestral Recall from it, and then drawing 3 cards for 1 mana?
You just fill the card up with useless creatures that died as 2/1s, and then get rid of all of them and draw a bunch more 2/1s, and then draw more 2/1s, and then you win.
One of my friends from Adelaide, Lou McLaughlin, he's a known zoo player. He took Mono Blue to top 8 in Melbourne recently. He's made modern zoo deck, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to take out Burn Spells and just put in Treasure Cruise, because that's what everyone's doing. Or take out Tarmogoyf and put in Cruise. And it's just like, yep, can't beat him, join him. Delve, definitely good. And taking that Mantis Rider, it's pretty good. I mean, if he takes a Gryph, he still has a Gryph, and Mantis Rider can actually deal some hurt pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems that, considering the last game, he might be feeling fairly confident as well that he can really pull this game together. And
interestingly enough, sorry to interrupt, do you actually think Thoughtseize is a correct choice to have in? I mean, Jeskai is known for its burn. I mean, not complete burn. Yeah. I mean, against a traditional burn deck, Thoughtseize is pretty good because you're usually taking 3 damage or 4 damage for 2. But in this case, I mean, with creatures and whatnot, is Thoughtseize really something you want to be doing here?
I'm not sure. I always took a fairly opposite philosophy to that. That I don't want to be casting my own spells that deal 2 damage against me. I can take the extra 1 damage, let them waste a card if I have
Yeah.
a better card in that slot.
Yep.
So I think I'm almost on the opposite side of this issue to you, where in this matchup I kind of want to have it because he's not as all in on a burn. He's got the big over the top.
Yeah, they can deal more, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And unless your sideboard does have a card that's going to help you get through those issues better,
Certainly. It's probably just best to
take
get the information and take what's best.
Of course, a good thing here is that you did get to see a lot of info as well. So.
Yeah, see what the Jeskai player's playing around with. I guess when you're passing out with 3 untapped mana, Manta's right of mana in that.
Yeah.
You got to be worried, like, what's up? But Community of the Gods put some interesting stuff in the graveyard. We've got a quick little scry action here. Temple of Melody.
Those temples always powerful.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah. Probably my favorite coming to play tapped lands.
Your favorite?
Like just as a cycle.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cycle.
Yeah.
What about Ravnica Shocks?
They don't come into play tapped.
Oh, well, they do if you don't pay 2 life.
No,
I guess you always pay the 2 life, don't
Yeah,
you?
they don't.
Yeah, fantastic. What other coming to play tap cycles are there that are gas?
I don't think there are any other good ones.
What about the back in the day of 5-color control, the Vivids? Did you ever play the Vivid deck?
Vivids were good, and Reflecting Pool along with them.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Not to mention, you have some lands that come into play tap that do have a pretty good effect. Part of a cycle like a Bajuka Bog, but that was attached to Magosi.
That's beautiful.
And the rest of that whole crew weren't very good.
Yeah. Well, here we see the absolute power that is Hushwing Griff stopping that Rhino, pesky
absolutely.
Rhino from dealing 3. That's actually really quite relevant in this matchup. I mean, it's more than 3 life gain, more than the 3 life lost, especially when you're playing with a burn deck. So, little 2/1 flyers, ticking over, dealing a bit of damage. You can actually set up a pretty good race here.
And with that in mind, even better than that is it's going to make the Whip of Erebos less effective.
Less effective. I mean, it turns it into a 4-mana life-linking machine, but this reanimated Abzan deck is all about the value, right?
Yeah.
Got a bit of Hornet Queen, bit of Siege Rhino. The Griff stuff them dead, so Hornet Queen becomes a 7-mana 2/2 flying Death Touch, which not the
Quite
best.
hard on for him.
Yeah, doesn't seem as good as normal. You see the Commune with the Gods again.
And
looks like you're going to pick an enchant with a Blinding Light, perhaps, but that's only going to do with 1 Griff, and the other one's still going to...
No, you definitely would prefer to be able to play a Detention Sphere in this moment.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Get rid of the whole board.
Detention Sphere that costs green, black, and white mana?
Yeah, I'm missing...
You're missing a bit of Detention Sphere action?
Yeah. I'm just missing that blue-white deck.
And you want to Sphinx's Revelation, people, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's gone.
Supreme Verdict, it was a lot of fun.
That sucks. I hated that format.
That was the only time I actually played Standard in a long time as well.
I bet it was. Pesky control player.
Yeah, we're Free Range Chickens, I believe, is the South Park reference.
Free Range Chickens? What does that entail?
So in the most recent episode of South Park, that's a Magic themed episode.
I haven't seen that one yet. I hear it's very good.
It's more of a Randy episode than a Magic themed episode. Randy really steals the show, but no, we can refer to control players as Free Range Chickens.
Oh, that's gas.
Yeah.
Oh, here we have the Dig Through Time. Amazing card.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if that resolves. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I'd be quite surprised.
Maybe a Stubborn Denial from the Abzan player.
So, all of a sudden pulling out a Force of Will or something.
Oh gosh, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Nah, Stubborn Denial is way better. Murderous Cut and Response for the Hushwing Griff. That gets it out of the way and definitely turns on a bunch of the cards for the Abzan Reanimator and Boat deck.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an enchant. What Dreamwake Giant? Is that the enchantment constellation here? Is there the Outline of Blossoms? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I was just told Constellation was part of the theme here.
Okay, I'm guessing Dreamwake Giant. It's pretty good against a lot of decks, especially the red decks.
It could just be there's more enchantment than Constellation, and Constellation is a fun word to throw in there, right? Just throw in as many descriptors as
grabbing
possible.
a Jeskai Charm and a Keranos God of Storms. Or is he?
Right.
I mean, what do you think about the Keranos? It's not really doing much. It can't deal with a 4/5.
I don't think it's got that much
Gas
value.
Flash Mad is only on 12 still. I mean, it has to hit 4 times, 4 land, 4 non-land.
It may be a god, but I don't know if it's value.
Yeah.
Right.
It is value, but I don't know if it's the value that we want. Is it the value we deserve, though?
But imagine the rush of getting that to resolve. And really, just the rush of having that work out for you would be fantastic.
Having the Storm on your side. Not as good as the Russia battle. Here's an end hostilities. That is a pretty good draw.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's just going to put down the Keranos and probably play the end hostilities when, Gash Flash Matt chucks down another creature to try and close this game out. Respond with end hostilities. Still haven't seen a whip yet. Oh, he's had a whip. Oh, right on time. Yes, I would believe that would be a whip, by the way. He's fondling that graveyard of his.
The old immediately look at your graveyard in full.
It's either delve or it's whip.
Yeah.
What'll it be, boys?
With that in mind, it might be worth it just to do one of those things where you look constantly at your graveyard every time you draw a card. Just make your opponent think that you have something every time until they realize that you're just never giving them information.
Yes.
That would be a better player and be constantly aware of what's in your graveyard.
That would be good. That's why I always just spread it out.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Massive
Sit
graveyard.
there like a dredge player.
Oh yeah, I usually start invading my opponent's plan with it, just adding to it every time.
Yeah.
Stepping Stone, Steady Wayfinder, adding to that graveyard, getting the mana, and here comes the whip, which
Perhaps
is pretty bad
part
news.
of our discussion earlier on putting lands in front of cards. We have our graveyards.
Yeah, I was thinking that. You go graveyard, then your face down hand, and then your lands, and then your creatures. And then your exile closest to you.
Yeah,
so you can be like, I can't touch these. You gotta reach over them.
Yeah.
So you know.
You can't
touch
those two.
It's a Blinding Light and hostilities here. I mean, we can't play them both in one turn. But it'll definitely go a long way to getting our 2.5 man back in this game.
I believe this being one of the full men of the team rather than a half man.
So we've got one of the 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's
Do we have the Blinding Light first, followed by the hostilities? Can we really afford to take another 5 here? Gets us dangerously in close of just rhinoing out. I believe he's going for that though.
Yeah. The real shame is that you don't get Keranos.
And looks like Sasha has just won over Jazza.
Yeah, he has. So it's all come down to this last table. In fact, I'm completely wrong because Sasha winning means that 2.5 men are out of this game match, and
I will still watch it.
They might scoop it up pretty soon. I know I would if.
No, because you got to look after those percentages. I mean, apparently 3-0 is better than 2-1. You got to look after your count back here. 2.5 man might just be wanting to spitefully remove that, but not sure if it's going to happen with those.
Yeah, Hornet Queen.
Hornet Queen, although we do at the end of the that'll wipe out the board. We don't have that. Keranos might just be able to mop up what's left of this shambles of a game.
It's going to be slow.
Slow and steady, 16. That's only a 6 bolts.
Yeah.
6 bolts, 6 turns. That's all right. Maybe we'll see a Keranos get active. Play like 3 Mantis Riders. That might do it.
I guess it's a real shame that Banishing Light is neither red nor blue.
Step 1, draw another end hostilities. 2 Jeskai Charm. That'll do another 8. Mantis Rider though. Bit of devotion there.
That's what you need to at the moment. And that was a good thing about pairing these two blocks together is having so many multicolored cards.
No, definitely.
It really does allow for some innovative deck building.
Murderous card here, getting rid of that pesky little Mantis. But looks like we're drawing off the top of the Abzan Enchantress life gain deck, and here's another Hornet Queen. 4 little bees to go with that. Total of 6. That's 2-turn clock, but I think we'll see a Jeskai Charm end of turn here. And if we draw a couple of pieces of action, that'll just be game. Even just one bolt should seal up. That's 3. That's another 7.
There we go.
Game. 2.5 men getting a match.
One of the full men pulling out a game win there, but or match
1.5 failing the rest of the team.
Yeah.
The sum of the parts was not as great as the whole. And
but I guess that means it's back to us here in the booth.
That was
so yeah, this was a fun match to watch actually. I hope you enjoyed commentating.
I really did. I think I'm back next round, so you have to put up with my tomfoolery again. But it was good to see the standard format as it is now. Definitely. Like a lot of the pillars of standard just coming together, and 2 great teams, obviously, Team New Zealand, Team Australia, and it's just good to have that sort of talent on camera. So
yeah, definitely, we've had a lot of fun here, and we'll be back in, I imagine, quarter of an hour or something to see the next round. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and keep with us.
Stay tuned.